Well, welcome to another edition of Spireites Extra Time podcast. As Liam and I get through another game that Chesterfield played at the weekend at home to Bristol Rovers, and they faced Gillingham on Tuesday night. A tough trip down to Kent. So Liam, how are you? And what did you make of the performance on Saturday?
Performance on Saturday. It was a another tight sort of first half, wasn't it? I think. Um, I suppose you've got to just look at the red card because that is the big flashpoint in the game, haven't you? Um, it's a bit soft, isn't it? I think. I
A
mean,
little bit.
it's gone in Chesterfield's favour, but they've had some absolute shockers go against them as as all teams do throughout the season. But yeah, I think he's running. Dobber's running through on goal.
Yeah.
There is uh, maybe like a pull or a push, but I think he's sort of edging away from goal a little bit. I don't know whether you have to take into account whether referee would take into account that he's on his left foot. He's going away from goal a little bit. But I mean, from a Chesterfield and a Dobra point of view, if he sort of feels like he's racing through on goal and he feels contact, he's going to go down. And he gave the defender gave the referee a decision to make, didn't he? I suppose that's the simplest way to put it. Um, and and then Chesterfield really made the extra man count straight away because sometimes the longer those games goes on, they can become really frustrating, can't they? But to get that goal sort of 2 minutes later from Tom Naylor,
Hmm.
that was a real boost before half time. I think Bristol Rovers actually probably better with 10 men. Actually, they showed a bit more attacking intent in the second, early in the second half.
Yeah.
Um, and Chesterfield lost their way a little bit, didn't they? After the conceded, it was another. It was a soft goal, wasn't it? Sort of second phase of a set play. McFadzean just gets a little bit out muscled or just gets stuck under the ball a little bit, and then it's a little bit unlucky after that because Hemming makes a good save. And I think it was someone was on the line and they were about to clear it, and sort of Hemming's fingertips takes it away from them, and that allows Hutchinson to apply the finish from a tight angle. Yeah, and I think after that, Chesterfield did lose their way a little bit, but they wrestled control back with 15 minutes to go, got back to playing football, and then struck again from a set piece of their own. Great delivery from Adam Lewis, who had just come on. Fantastic flicked header from McFadzean at the near post. So if in any way he did feel he could have done better for the equaliser, then he more than made up for it by scoring that goal. And then obviously, yeah, the third goal, Bristol Rovers probably chucking a few men forward to try and get a point, and Chesterfield have picked them off nicely. I suppose the other big talking point was the subs, wasn't there? Chesterfield had
Mm.
great success with substitutions last season. They were right up there with the likes of Barcelona and Bayern Munich and all these European giants when it comes to uh, substitutes scoring goals. And although they didn't score at the weekend, Lewis and Mandeville both got assists, so that bodes well. And yeah, so it's three wins out of three. 9 points this time last year. Chesterfield had 5 points, so they're already four better off. So encouraging signs, I think. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I thought, like you, I felt that the it was a key moment. I felt that the sending off. I thought it was one of those sort of we called it at the time that it was a bit harsh, Lee Turnbull and I, because we did full match commentary. Purely because Dobra seemed to be going more towards the corner flag than actually onto goal. So was that actually a goal scoring opportunity? Now that the referee saw Senior though try to pull him twice, didn't he? And
Mm.
that's what he was going off. I think he was just waiting for Dobra to fall to the ground, to be fair. But as the initial ball went on, I think that Dobra wouldn't have got onto the ball that went straight through to the goalkeeper. So again, was that a goal scoring opportunity that Dobra was denied? The letter of the law probably says, yeah, he's taken into account. the factor that he was pulled back, I think, and looked at that only in that split second of time that he's got, and
Mm.
he's come up with a red card. When fact, probably if he looks at it, if there was such a thing, it would be more than like an orange,
Mm.
sort
Yeah.
of decision, wouldn't it? But we don't have them, so he has to go. He has to go straight for red because he thinks it's a goal scoring opportunity. So I can see why he thinks that as well. But it looked a little bit harsh from where we were sat, and we were bang in front of it, weren't we, as
Mm.
well? So a key situation there from them, of course, and then Chester will score from the resulting second phase of the free kick, isn't it, from Dylan Duffy, isn't it?
Yeah.
The looping header, yeah, which I think Harrison tries to handle it on the line as well, which he makes a real cock up of. So yeah, perfect to go in again at half time is 1-0. But the key situation that Bristol Rovers had, and you're right, they seemed to improve when they swapped formation to sort of four at the back and bolstered the midfield a little bit, was when Isaac Hutchinson came on as a box to box midfielder. Chesterfield didn't track him on a number of occasions. He played really well when he came on, and he obviously got the equaliser as well. Chesterfield were unlucky. It was a typical Chesterfield goal that they concede, where it's a simple ball into the box, the keeper makes the saves, and then chaos ensues, doesn't it?
Mm.
They don't seem to be able to clear their lines very well. It's you kick the ball against somebody's backside and it goes in or something like that, and the keeper makes a good save pushing the ball away. But there's never a blue shirt there. There was a Bristol Rovers player there who tried to and then hook the ball into the net, and it was all sort of frenetic. And thankfully, it was in the 68th minute and not in the 88th because
Mm.
Chesterfield then had time to regroup. As the time went on, they made the four substitutes, and it was the bold substitutes that were attacking it. And this could be key for Chesterfield going forward, is their strength in depth off the bench. They didn't have it at times last year
Mm.
because of the injuries, but now they've got it, and the two subs created the goals to be scored by a brilliant header from McFadden. And he said to you and I after the game, didn't he, that he's worked with Tom Naylor, and
Mm.
Tom Naylor had been off the pitch at that particular point, so he ran in the near post. So if it's not going to be Naylor, it's going to be McFadden doing that. And most people targeted Dunkley at the back post, didn't they? So they left him to have a free run with that. So clever thinking from McFadden and the team that makes up the set pieces, Danny Webb, etc. And the third goal was just really the icing on the cake, wasn't it, for Dobra as well? And pleased to see the magician get a goal like so to start his season as well, because he's smacking balls all over the ground, hasn't he? So far, they've not hit the target, and he's seen a brilliant goalkeeping display on Tuesday night, and can take heart from that, and that now he's often running, isn't he? So yeah, overall, again, it's not one where Chesterfield fans purring about
Mm.
their 90 minutes performance, but you'll get them a steady, I'd say 8 out of 10 there. Chesterfield deserved to win the game, absolutely no doubt about that. And I can see why Darrell Clark was annoyed, because as soon as they got the equaliser, they went back into a pattern of struggling, as if that was a job done. And there was still a lot of time for Bristol Rovers to make it up. So I can see why he was really frustrated with his team. But yeah, from a Spireites point of view, keep on going. Best start to the campaign since 2000, and if they win on Tuesday night, it's the best start to the season since 1984, and they won the title that year, 84-85.
Mm. I think Bristol Rovers have got some good players. Just to touch upon them for a second again. I don't think they'll be. I don't think they're going to be down there. I think they're
No,
just relegation, bit of a hangover, new manager, new players, and I think they're just adjusting to the level again. But yeah, I think they've got some good individual players. It's whether they can just gel as a team. But for Chesterfield to be 9 points clear of them already,
yeah.
given that Bristol Rovers were tipped to be one of the favourites as well, that 3 points on Saturday, that could prove important come the end of the season, because 9 points is it's a big gap, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And they missed a big chance at 0-0, remember? Homogeri put
Mm.
that effort wide, didn't he? And, that could, I'm not necessarily saying that the Spireites wouldn't have gone on and won the game, but it certainly would have put a fly in the ointment, wouldn't it? So, to go forward, having to do it the hard way, as Chesterfield often do, but to get that first goal again, was really important to capitalise on them losing that player, of course. And yeah, there was some really good individual performances again as we walked out the ground afterwards, didn't we? Thought
Mm.
Vontae Daly Campbell was our
Yeah.
man of the match. He's had a really positive start to the season, hasn't he? Going forward.
Yeah, I think when I was doing my sort of play ratings after the game, even though it, like I say, it wasn't like a sparkling performance that everyone's going to remember for many years to come, but there weren't really many that I thought were bad individual performances. Really, I think pretty much everyone was steady, more than steady. There weren't really anyone who really, I would say, had a poor game. The only one who I thought was not through his own fault, maybe a little bit quiet, was Dylan Markande. But I think
Yeah,
again, I think he's just been targeted quite a lot so far. I think teams know that he's a danger man, and they're getting tight to him, and two and three men, and they're swarming around him, and he's really not having much space at all. I mean, I imagine that Darrell Clark probably watched how he picked Mansfield apart a little bit in that first half with some of his passing, and sort of highlighted him as a
yeah.
big threat. And so yeah, he's going to have to try and probably he's going to have to get used to that because he's probably going to face that all season. But what it will do is free up space for the likes of Dobra and Duffy and others as well. So I suppose he's got to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. One thing that let me down about Vontae Daly Campbell was getting involved with Jack Sparks in that particular moment when he picked up a yellow card. Really didn't need to do that, did he? And I know he was het up about the situation because it was a strong tackle on Dylan Markandi, wasn't it, from Sparks?
Mm.
But um, obviously they weren't teammates together, Sparks and Markandi, because they bypassed in their time at Chesterfield, so they didn't really know each other. So Sparks just taking frustration really from his point of view, taking out on Markandi. But Vontae Daly Campbell really going in on Sparks, who were teammates together, although Vontae Daly Campbell was out injured for most of that second half of the season. But that's the only thing that really marked him down for me. But he's been really positive, and fingers crossed. And I'm touching the table here, so that is made of wood. That he doesn't get any injuries at all going forward, because if he could keep Devon Tanton out of the team, then fantastic stuff. But I really hope he does well going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely a promising start from him. We saw another tireless performance up front as well from Lee Bonnis, who
Yeah.
he'll probably be scratching his head how he didn't score come the end of the game, whoever it be, efforts wide, saved or over. He did everything right but score, but it was another selfless performance up top, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like his work ethic. It's really good. Look, any other day, like, so he would have got a hat trick, wouldn't he? He saw two good saves from Luke Southwood as well, and then he put that header wide when he was unmarked. And yeah, he looks like he's really a threat going forward. You've got to get into those good areas in the first place to miss those opportunities. So he knows how to get into good scoring positions, doesn't he? You can sense that straight away. And once he gets the first one, which he's obviously got the first one at Cheltenham, which wasn't really his goal, but we'll give it anyway because that's what the club have said. Then he'll go off, no, absolutely no problem. I don't think he'll start tomorrow. I think it'll be Grigg. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Just one other point I was thinking of is I think although it is early days, it's a real small sample size that I think Chesterfield are mixing up their game a little bit. They're still a very much a possession based attacking team, and they're not going to stray too far away from that. But we have seen them go a little bit longer, I think, from the back with McFadzean's got a impressive passing range
Mm.
on him. And I think he's shown that he can ping a ball or two out from the back. And I think we have, again, I thought we saw glimpses of Chesterfield going a little bit longer earlier on in the game. And another thing that I've noticed is we they seem to be much better at winning second balls. They seem to be in a closer distance to try and win those when they drop down. And obviously, if they can do that, then again they're going to have more possession, and and it sets them up nicely to build attacks. I think that the pressing, the intensity, and the intelligent positioning is something like I say. It's only a small sample size, 3 games, but I think they've gone a little bit longer, mixed it up a little bit more, and they're getting around those second balls a little bit more. I think.
Yeah, you see some of those diags, don't you, from McFadgen. And there was a lovely one he splayed over the right hand side. And I think it was to Daly Campbell. I think
Mm.
Dylan Marcandia was waiting for the second ball to come off him, but it was right pinpoint, right in front of the Bristol Rovers fans. I think he chested it down and made that move that way. But you're absolutely right. They seem to be utilising Bonus's skills up front as well with a long
Mm.
ball into areas, into channels, um, and then getting the three to go slightly forward. So there is a little bit of a one dimension that people not necessarily have spotted that they've because in the second half, and I watched there's a YouTube video of a YouTube fan who comes on with a good angle. I think he sits in the West Stand, and you see, but he must be sat next to the most annoying woman because she's just screaming on this thing as uh, for God's sake, get it forward. And that's, what I mean? And Chesterfield just passing the ball about, absolutely tiring out a 10-man Bristol Rovers from left to right, which is what they want to do. And then with the killer pass. And she wants it pumped into the box where they've got everybody there. So, it's not quite how Chesterfield have been playing for the past 4 years, is it? So unless she's new, I don't know whether she's a new season ticket holder, but she needs to sort of read the situation that's not necessarily what's happened recently. But you're absolutely right. There seem to be a little bit of change in what they're doing, and perhaps we'll see more of this away from home, Liam. I think.
Yeah, we definitely saw that at Cheltenham, and I don't think that's going to be a one off. And in fact, I think we'll probably see that tomorrow night against Gillingham, who are very much in that physical
Mm.
style, aren't they? They're a big team. They'll be well organised. They'll have a good structure about them. Gareth Ainsworth openly admitted that they're not playing the best football. I saw some absolute drab reports of their 1-0 win at home to Walsall, which I can imagine made people's eyes bleed watching that. Um, so, I don't think tomorrow's going to be a classic. I don't think there'll be much entertainment value in terms of um, scintillating football, if you like. But I think if Chesterfield come away with a dull point, I think that'll be very good. This week they're away from home against two teams where they lost both of those last year. They lost 1-0 at Gillingham and they lost 2-1 at Harrogate, and they shouldn't have lost either of them. So again, it's another opportunity to see if lessons have been learned, because so far they've been ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We'll see this Gillingham side, a very workmanlike team, won't we? The impressive Robbie McKenzie, if he's playing as well. He played really well against us last campaign. Haven't done my prep on that yet, so that's for my job later on to do. So yeah, Bradley Dack's playing, of course. I don't know whether he's recovered from injury, but
Mm.
he got a new contract with them, didn't he, as well? But what a high class performer he can be on his day as well. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think they've not signed that many players this summer, but I think that's because they've signed a lot of players in the last couple of transfer windows because they've
yeah,
been chopping and changing managers. So I imagine that the board have probably said, we need you to get the best out of the players we've got because we can't keep turning over players all the time. I have read that he wants one or two in before the end of the window, and that they are struggling a little bit defensively in terms of numbers. So they've got a few injuries there. So it'll be interesting to see how they line up. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a classic, and nobody's going to care if Chesterfield come away with a positive result. To be honest, I think it's just a case of get the job done and get back on the coach and get ready for Harrogate. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, the game down there last season, Chesterfield absolutely hammered them and played them off the park. Should have been a couple of goals in front. even after conceding so early from a set piece. Shea Dunkley got sent off, which was never a sending off. And it was a lunchtime kickoff. And I don't know what it is. They sent Chesterfield down to Gillingham for a Saturday lunchtime last season, and now they've said, "Oh no, let's send them for a Tuesday night down there as well." And
Well,
then send them to Harrogate on Saturdays, like not the other way around, lads. Or
I know. But thankfully it's in August, and it
hmm.
won't be too cold or wet and miserable anyway. So yeah, I'm staying down there after the game as well. I'm not driving back
No,
the
that
little
would be.
wee hours of the time. So yeah,
You may as well
uh,
just carry on driving straight up to Harrogate if you're doing that.
as well. Yeah, exactly. We got that to look forward to on Saturday. Chesterfield never play well on Saturday, but that's for another pod on Wednesday, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah.
What about the team selection for Tuesday then? Do we think Will Grigg
Hmm.
will come back in and maybe Darcy as well?
Yeah, it pointed towards that, didn't it? I think that it looks like a Darcy type of game. Maybe rest Dobra for that one.
Yeah.
With Dobra playing the full 90, do you think that could be the case then? With him missing out? Because Duffy came off, didn't he? And Mark Andy came off, I think, did he? I can't remember if Mark Andy came off actually. I've got it down here. Hang on.
No,
No, he didn't.
no, don't think he did because he had a part to play in the third goal. Even though
He
I know I've
did.
just said he was quite quiet. He got the pre-assist, as people say now.
Oh, we
It's the
start with. Oh, is that a new stat? Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
pre-assist. Yeah, it's the pass before the assist. So he passed it to Mandeville, who crossed for Dobbs.
That's correct. He did.
Um, but yeah, I think away from home Tuesday night, I think Dylan Duffy could be the one to come back in, and of course he's off. He's having a flying start, isn't he? 3 assists and a goal already.
Yeah.
So he's in good form. That they're probably going to need Will Griggs hold up play at the Priestfield, aren't they, as well, and to keep those big Gillingham defenders busy.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I think it'll probably be as long as there's no injuries that we don't know about. Same back four. I'd imagine Stirk and Naylor in the middle. Dibley Diaz is probably not going to make it. It might be involved against Harrogate. He is back in training, but I think Paul Cook likes to see them have a full week of training before including them in a squad. But he's not going to be out for as long as what it could have been with that injured ankle. And of course, got John Fleck as well back in the squad. So we've got some numbers. No James Berry yet. He's targeting the Harrogate or the Crawley game. So not too long, maybe this weekend or the following weekend. No Luke Butterfield, of course. He's out now with a broken metatarsal. And Devon Tanton's back running with Fulham. So he's getting he's edging a little bit closer, if you like. So yeah, I think a couple of changes would be my prediction.
Yeah, I'm thinking the one. I'm gonna go Darcy for Dobra. Oh, sorry, no, Grigg as well. So yeah, two changes. Yeah, Grigg for bonus, Darcy for Dobra. So those are the ones that
Yeah.
I'm gonna predict for that.
What do you
So
think for a score prediction?
well, I think like you said, I think it's going to be a tight game. I can't see it being a sort of epic 4-all or something like that. I'm
I think a
thinking
draw.
something.
I'm going to go for a draw.
For what 0-0, 1-1 or
Yeah, 0-0 or 1-1. Yeah,
yeah.
nothing more. No more high scoring than that. I don't think.
No. One thing I was really impressed with on Saturday as well was the crowd for turning up as well for 8,000 on for a 12:30 sleepy time, and they're 715, I think it was, coming up from Bristol as well. Fabulous. They are a big club, as I say. Any side that can take 40,000 to Wembley, they've got something about them, haven't you? So. Um, Big city, obviously, isn't it,
Mm.
Bristol? So yeah, they've got a good fan base, and they should be in League One. Really, the League Two's not their division, isn't it? So yeah,
Yeah, no, they're a big club. They've brought some good numbers to the area before to some other games that I've seen around here, and 700 and odd for a lunchtime kickoff when you've already lost three in a row in all competitions is some going. Like I said, they've got some good players, good manager. I think they'll be. I think they'll sort themselves out, and maybe the second half of the season will be when they come strong and maybe for a playoff charge.
We've got a couple of weeks, I think, till the end of the transfer window. Obviously, we've seen Chesterfield make moves in that department to bring in a left centre back, but he can't be allowed to come till January the 1st. Is the move for Ben Ward of Accrington still on, do you think? Because he made his debut for Accrington
Mm.
on sorry, it's not a debut, but his first start of the season for them at the weekend. So, do you think that's still on the table? Accrington have said no, and we're going to wait till the last minute, or is it one of those things that might drag on a little bit?
I think it's kind of the same as maybe a week or two where we are relying on outgoings.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be much more activity now. If you look at that squad, there's two players in every position. There's squad depth there. There's quality. You know, you look and you think, where could it? Where do they need strengthening? And there's not really anywhere that's sort of like standing out to you massively. If you were to sign, Ward from Accrington and get, he's probably more one for the future, isn't he? So,
Mm.
and you've got McFadden, you've got Grimes in that left-sided centre back spot for at least for the first half of the season, and then we've got Owolabi Belleru coming in January. So yeah, I don't. I think they're pretty much done. You know, maybe if a special player becomes available who they've really wanted and they can get him, maybe. And if maybe like say one or two of the fringe players were then free when and that freed up a little bit of space and wages. But I don't think they're in a bit in a rush now. I don't think they'll be scrambling around for players on the final day of the window like some other clubs will be.
Two players who have not really featured too much, but been on the bench. I think Madden has been in training. He's obviously one that's they're looking to move on from. I think in being in the sort of extra squad, and Shackelford maybe would be one with if Tanton comes back with
Yeah.
with Daly Campbell sort of picking up that right back berth now and going forward. He looks to be injury free. Again, touch wood with that. That may be an area where Shackelford and Madden go out. But if the worst came to the worst and Dunkley, for example, got injured, would you
Mm.
drop Naylor back into there as part of the back four, or would you move McFadden over to the right hand side and bring Grimes in at the left side? So, Grimes at this moment in time is still quite pivotal to the squad, isn't he?
Yes, because just one injury and he's gone from not being included in the squad to starting, which we have seen. We saw it in the National League under Paul Cook, didn't we? You know, one week one player'd be left out, and then the next week he'd be starting. You know, we got quite used to seeing that happen. But yeah, I don't think they're in any rush or panic. I think they're in a really good place. They've got the business done nice and early, and they might want to save a little bit as well. You know, for January, they might want to keep that a spot, or keep a bit of
Mm.
wages free for January. You know, to help them get over the line, if you like, in the second half of the season. So I think they're in a really smart place. They'll obviously they're always looking to recruit. They're always keeping their eye on players. They're never not looking. Um, but yeah, I don't think they are panicking or anything like that.
No, they shouldn't really be, should they? After three wins on the bounce there so far. So yeah, all things progressing quite well. It's going to be a tough ask the next two games though, away from home against Gillingham and Harrogate, of course. What were you going to be predicting then? Two draws? Would that be suffice to go forward, or is the momentum big key and they want wins?
It's a interesting one, isn't it? Because you kind of want to stay unbeaten, so you take two draws. But actually, if you lost one and you won one, then you've got more points. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's one of them. You don't want to lose your unbeaten record, but of course you
no.
want more points. But yeah, I think 4 points would be a good would be a good return. But I think if it's three, if they do win one and maybe slip to a defeat, I think that's still a decent return, and then they can just go again. Yeah, tricky couple of games. Two grounds they lost at last season. So yeah, it's
Don't
another
lose. I
it's
think
an
Dan.
yeah don't yeah respect the point, as Danny Webb says, respect the
Yeah.
point. You know, if you can't win it, don't lose it. Whereas last season that was the opposite. You know, they lost both of them. So yeah, couple of draws, 4 points. Yeah, then back to home turf.
Well, thank you, Liam. You can keep up to date with Liam's live text updates on the Derbyshire Times webpage. It'll be on
Yeah.
there with the live updates. I'll be doing updates on BBC Radio Sheffield as well. And also, all the post match reaction will be on BBC Sounds, Chesterfield specific page. Subscribe to that, and you'll get all the audio hitting you and your notifications and whatnot. And anything else, Liam? I think we got.
Uh, I think yeah, just keep tuning to your BBC Sounds and updates, and keep having a look on the DT website. Buy the paper if you can, even if you don't read it for yourself. Buy it for a family member, maybe someone who's elderly in your family. You know, granddad, grandma, that sort of thing. And I we'll probably be a bit tired after this week after Gillingham and Harrogate. We might be looking a bit ragged next week, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
exactly. And Liam's book is still on sale as well at where can I get it? It's virtual images.
Vertical editions, yeah.
Vertical editions. So if you check out the webpage, it's on there as well. So I'll keep plugging that for a little bit. So yeah, thanks very much for this pod, and we'll be back again on Wednesday with another pod because games come thick and fast. We've got another pod scheduled for then. So yeah, hopefully with either a victory or a positive result down at well, a victory is a positive result, isn't it? So a positive result down at Gillingham, let's say. Thanks very much for joining us on this edition.